So speaking of numbers, everybody, we've got a very special session for you. Don't worry, it's nothing scary, it's nothing mathematical, it's nothing advanced maths, chemistry, physics, chemia, whatever you want to call it. It is actually a topic on how to apply for a corporate tax deduction. Now, many of you are running your very own business in the creative space and other spaces as well. So this topic of how to apply for a corporate tax deduction is very important. I like to call it the Momantai approach, which is a very, very simple approach in Cantonese. And our next speaker is very simple, very straightforward, believes in basics, checks and balances, and getting things done, and to follow a logical structural sequence on how to get it done. So don't be afraid. It's going to be a very beneficial topic to you and your business. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome, she's already on our screen, the Senior Assistant Secretary for from the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, as she's waving at me, and I'm making sure I'm getting all the titles right in terms of protocol, in terms of from the Culture Policy Division, Miss Ooi Bee Ling. Bee Ling, how are you? You okay?
Yeah, hi, thanks a lot, Ben. Can call me B.
Okay, B. Okay, I'm Ben for B. So B to B, business to business.
Yes.
Okay, B, so walk us through this very Momantai topic.
Momantai, no problem. Okay, slide please. Hi guys, thank you Ben. Thank you J. Izan from China, Raza, my creative ventures for inviting us, and I will be representing MoTech to give a talk about some of our tax deduction program under MoTech. So the first one I would like to introduce is the Subsection 34(6)K Income Tax Act for tax deduction for sponsorship of arts, cultural and heritage activities. And the second part will be the Subsection 44(6) Income Tax Act 1967 for tax deduction for kumpulan wang amanah kebudayaan dan kebajikan pegiat seni. We call it Coops. Next. Okay, this is just to get you through the background for W1H of the Subsection 34(6)K Income Tax Act 1967 and how to apply it. Next. Just to give you a brief history about the Subsection 34(6)K Income Tax Act 1967. Sorry about the lengthy wordy, but it need to be said correctly. Subsection 34(6)K. So this tax deduction was introduced by the government of Malaysia in October 2016 during the Budget 2017 speech. So official announcement of increase in the limit of tax deduction from 500,000 to 700,000 per year of assessment. Engagement. So during that time, MoTech engaged with Treasury and Inland Revenue Board, LHDN, to formulate guidelines and procedure for this kind of implementation. And during September 2017, we have come up with a guideline with the form for any organizer to participate or to apply for this tax deduction. And during 2018 and 2019, MoTech full force ahead with ongoing promotion efforts to increase awareness of tax deduction incentive among artists and event organizers. And lastly, 11 October 2019, during the budget speech 2020, there is an increasing tax deduction given to companies sponsoring arts and cultural and heritage activities in Malaysia from 700,000 to 1 million per year. So this is quite an encouragement for the private sector to take part and to support the art activities organized by NGOs, individual or even private sector. Next. So we need to know what is Subsection 34(6)K Income Tax Act 1967. So what is it? Section 34(6) has been specifically legislated to allow certain specific expenses and income induction notwithstanding such expenses do not satisfy the allowable. This is the economic terms. So why this Subsection 34(6) is to encourage by the government as they can achieve some national objective or bring social benefits to the public. So in this case, 34(6)K is to promote and encourage the private sector to take part and sponsor any kind of activity program related to arts and culture product. So for example, in this 34(6), you will come to, there's some 34(6), such as 34.6E, expenditure incurred in providing equipment for the OKU, 34.6F, expenditure incurred in respect of publication in national language, or 34.6G, donation to libraries, 34.6H, expenditure incurred in providing services, public administrative and contribution to a charity or community project, 34.6I, expenditure incurred in providing and maintenance of a child care center for the benefit of employees, 34.6J, expenditure incurred in establishing and managing a musical or cultural group, and 34.6K, expenditure incurred in sponsoring any approved local and foreign arts, cultural and heritage activity, not exceeding 300,000 for sponsoring foreign arts, and not exceeding 1 million in aggregate for local arts. So the 34.6L provision for scholarship to a student receiving full-time instruction leading to an award of diploma degree, and 34.6M capital expenditure incurred in obtaining accreditation for a laboratory as a certification body. Next. Next. So which area of sponsorship that can private sector to take part? So it's we have 11 areas, which are music and theater, dance, handicraft, visual arts, film writing, advertising, costume, wardrobe and textile, fashion modeling, martial arts and heritage. These are the main areas whereby, let's say, some people come and approach and say, I am doing this kind of activity related to music and theater and we need your support. So in these 11 areas, which can be, which you guys can take part in and help them in organizing this kind of event. Next. So what kind of activity programs which are approved by the MOTAC, which are the stage performance, festival or fair, exhibition and expo, conference, seminar, workshop, symposium, discourse, preservation and conservation, research, documentation, publication, recording, production, competition. Next. Next. Recognition or appreciation, education, learning, promotion, development, marketing, product, promotion, activity, innovation, content development, archiving, or any other related activities or program recognized by the MOTAC. Okay, next. So what form of sponsorship we encourage the private sector to give into? For example, cash, this one is quite easy. Artist professional fee, purchases of goods and equipment, event organizing costs such as food and F&B, logistic, accommodation, venue rental, technical or sound system lighting, etc. Cost of production, cash or in kind, approved by the MOTAC, and price sponsorship. Let's say in one activity, we do have a lot of elements of costing, right? So for example, people are doing theater, so they need support from technical. So maybe private sector who are in technical sector, they want to provide some professional guidance to them, so they let out some sound system or lighting. So whatever kind of organizing costs such as the sound and system lighting, we are also approved of this kind of sponsorship, as long as the private sector just give a quotation saying that how much is the rent for that sound system and all. Or even if for the F&B side, they want to sponsor the whole program during for rehearsal, and it is acceptable also. But in this case, MOTAC or even the LHDN would prefer if the private sector give it in cash, so that it allows the organizer to manage the money and do it accordingly. Next. Okay, donation in cash such as goods, equipment or venue, cost of preservation and conservation of heritage sites, material donation such as historic building, monuments and artifacts, research and development activities and programs, cost of marketing and promotion activities and programs, and other forms of sponsorship. For the cost of marketing and promotion activities, we MOTAC look through at the past application. And let's say film productions are doing, the film are already done and they want to like do some marketing event or whatsoever. So this kind of marketing and promotion activity is also allowed. Okay, next. So how to apply the sponsorship. This is more for those organizer, but the private sector who are interested can take part in it also. So for example, this kind of how to apply sponsorship is in two phases, whereby for the first phase, we will the organizer, or let's say the organizer, will get a supporting letter sponsorship from the MOTAC, so that it allows them to seek for sponsorship from the private sector. So any application need to be submitted at least 30 days before the date of program execution. But usually we do advise them to apply earlier so that they have ample time to do some to meet up with the clients to seek potential sponsor. So in phase 2, this is to get the approval letter for tax deduction. Then the application should be submitted no later than 90 days after the date of execution. This one is important. This one usually is all these phases are done by the organizer or the one who wants to apply the sponsorship. Next. So for the first phase, it's just to get you through. It's quite simple. The organizer just need to download the form. We call it DK1 SSP form. SSP stands for Surat Sokongan Penajaan. So beside fill up the DK1 form, then the organizer need to apply, give you a cover letter, activity program proposal, program expenditure estimation, and supporting document if necessary. This is the supporting document meant for, like, for example, people who are doing film production. So we will ask finance whether to do some background checking on this production, whether this is approved or not, or have they already get the letter of shooting or whatsoever. Okay, next. So this is the form. It's quite simple. It's not so complicated. Next. This is a letter we given to the penaja, not penaja, sorry, to the organizer or event management. So in the letter, we will say that Kementerian, this MOTAC allowed this organizer to host to have this program, and they are allowed to get sponsorship from any related private sector, so on and so forth. But this letter doesn't guarantee the sponsor company will get the tax deduction. They need the event organizer need to submit need to go through the second phase, whereby they need to submit the project and the program report, so that we go through everything. Then we only provide the letter to the sponsor saying that they are eligible for this tax deduction. Next. Okay, the phase 2. So after execution of this activity, the organizer need to submit another form, DK2 SPC. SPC stands for Surat Penajaan form. This one, after that, letter of application for organizer, report of activity, report of expenditure, copy of sponsorship agreement stating the amount of and form of sponsorship, supporting documents such as receipt of purchase payment, receipt for acknowledgement, and so on and so forth. For this, usually if you are one of the potential sponsor, you need to have a letter of agreement between you and the organizer, whereby in the letter saying that you are agreed to sponsor in kind or in cash. If in cash is how much the value, if in kind is how much the value. Let's say, for example, some of my applicants managed to get a sponsor in hotel accommodation. So usually the hotel will provide the quotation, and the quotation would be the black and white, and as a proof of whatever transaction of the transaction for the tax deduction. Okay, next. So this is the sample of application form DK2 SSP. So one of the syarat-syarat kelayakan for syarikat to get the tax deduction is the company, the sponsor company needs to register under LHDN. They of course need to pay for the tax, right? So they do have the income tax number, nombor rujukan syarikat If let's say individual, we won't allow because this tax deduction is just for company. Okay, next. Next. Okay, this is the sample of approval letter for tax deduction. So in the letter, we will mention saying that Kementerian telah meneliti and meluluskan program potongan cukai bagi penajaan to the organizer, but to the sponsor company, berjumlah how much the amount of the tax sponsorship worth. So this one will be the proof, and you need to see, keep this letter as a proof. Let's say when the LHDN come and do some inspection or whatsoever. Okay, next. Okay, just to show you the statistic of successful applicants and sponsorship during between 2018 and 2019. So we have a huge, in 2018, we have 35 sponsored company worth of 3,154,924 ringgit. So we in 2019 we have a very good participation from the private sector. We have 116 companies worth of 4 juta plus of sponsored value. Okay, next. So usually when organizer come in and ask how to convince, they will ask me how to, not how to convince, but they usually do give us a question like the sponsor company would like to know what is this type of tax deduction, and usually in which form or how to apply this in the form for the for 34.6K. So for example, this is what I have looked up through. So firstly, download some sample company return form for year of assessment, meaning that let's say for next year 2020, then you need to look for 2020, so you need to look for assessment 2020. So this is sample. So look for incentive claim for special deduction, further deduction, and double deduction. Just forgot to mention it to you, under this 34.6K is under special deduction. As you can see below, claim for special deduction, further deduction, and double deduction. This is whereby you will fill up the amount of sponsorship that you have done. Okay, so claim code. So if you can see below, so under 34.6K would be 107, expenditure incurred in sponsoring any approved local and foreign arts of cultural and heritage activity. So for example, for next year, then this would definitely will be different. So you need to download the SSM company return form every year to look for these clues. Look for incentive claim, look for claim codes. Okay, next. Okay, this one is about the 34.6K, but this one is about, next one I would like to introduce you to Subsection 44(6) Income Tax Act 1967. This is for tax deduction for kumpulan wang amanah kebudayaan dan kebajikan penggiat seni. We call it Coops. Okay, next. Okay. Besides, we encourage people to, or maybe other private sector, or maybe yayasan, they are more focusing on on activity and program. But for more tech, we also taking care of the well-being of our artisans from the film industry, from the music industry, from the craft industry, and so on and so forth. So in October 2009, during the Budget 2010 speech, official announcement of the establishment of kumpulan Coops. So this tabung is to making sure of the welfare of art activists are taken care of, provide assistance to art activists in the development and promotion of local arts and culture. So we have two types of tabung inside the Coops. For first one would be tabung kebajikan penggiat seni and tabung amanah dan sumbangan khas. So what is tabung kebajikan penggiat seni, TKPS? This is to provide financial assistance for art activists in terms of token, funeral expenses, medical and natural disaster relief. Usually we receive this kind of application from our department and agency under MOTEC. But if for the film industry, we usually do have application from other NGOs also. So for the task, we provide financial assistance for arts activities in terms of logistic, registration fees, publishing, research, and etc. Let's say we do receive application from the art artisan saying that they want to attend some seminar or even joining some competition in overseas, but they don't have enough money to go there. So what we do is we will evaluate the application, and we will sponsor some money just to help them out so that they can take part outside take part in any terms of seminar or whatsoever lah. So next. So this is statistics of total recipient crops during year 2019 and 2000 from 2017 to 2019. So if you can see, every year we have an increment. In 2019 we have we have helped 62% in turn 62% with total of money at 139,500 ringgit. For tasks, we supported 7 activities worth of 30,500 ringgit. Therefore, we do hope that private sector, like for example Maybank or Yayasan Sandabi, could chip in as well, so that MOTEC itself can continually to provide assistance to the art industry for the well-being and to make sure the local arts can be introduced to the worldwide. Next. Okay, this is an example of the work process. Let's say if people are interested or anyone who are joining us today from the private sector who are interested, please do. We receive any donation from you all. So contribution can be received for any individual, body, corporate, statutory authority, or any entity from within and outside the country. Donation received must be in the form of money, giving cash, check, postal order, or bank draft. Of course, the form will be filled out by the secretariat. Don't worry. So donation in the form of goods or materials such as artifacts, painting, and land are not acceptable, and there is no limit on the value of contribution. So we do hope the private sector to donate some money inside this crop so that we can make sure the well-being of the artisan is being taken care of. So acceptance of donation, the secretariat will receive the donation and issue an official Q38 government receipt to the contributors. So during the tax deduction claim, contributors are eligible to claim income tax deduction under Section 44(6) of the Income Tax Act 1967 in the year of the assessment of the contribution given through the LHDM income tax e-link form. So keep the official government receipt. So any donation or any can write in or see us to Kementerian Pelancongan Seni dan Budaya, Bahagian Dasar Kebudayaan, Aras 4, Nombor 2, Menara 1, Jalan P/6, Precinct 5, 62200 Putrajaya. Okay, next. So any inquiries about the tax deduction for both 34(6)K or 44(6) can call us up at this number 8891-7364 Encik Megat Anan, or Tatin Salida 8891-7399, or for further clarification you can email us to incentive@motec.gov.my. So thank you for the session. So I open to the floor if you have question about this. Thank you.
Thanks very much, B, for that. We're just checking on questions, just like B said. So please feel free to ask. It's a very interesting topic, and this is the tax service coming to you right on your screen. You don't get much better than that. Other questions, B?
I got a question from Go Yung Ping saying that we hope tax incentive to the individual because it will help direct to artists and supporter. So for this question, I would like to answer that so far the LHDN hasn't given any approval to individual, but we will take it into consideration and we will have a further discussion with MOF and LHDN to open up for the individual as well. And from the same question from Go also, jika syarikat sumbang 10K, adakah ia akan dapat potongan cukai 10K? Yes. Kalau let's say for example, one company is entitled for 1 juta per year. For example, let's say ABC company, they want to sponsor a few programs from event organizer ABCD. So for this 4 company, they sponsor 25K for each program. So the sponsor company is entitled for 1 million. But do bear in mind, this is a deduction and consider an expenses to the company. It's not like after they calculate everything, then at the bottom they tax for the tax relief. This is not the tax relief, but a tax deduction. Okay, any other question maybe? I got a question also from Su Heng Lim. This second process with donation to Coops is much simpler. How can corporate sponsorship directly to artists be made as simple as this to incentive corporation? For the Coops, this is governed by MOTAC, and you only process the application whenever there is application from the department or agency under MOTAC. But for instance, for the 34.6K, it's more or mainly for activities. So we do need participation for private sector to support the activities. So that's why we introduced the 34.6. But for Coops, it's meant for welfare. So this one, we also do encourage private sector to join in hand also to help us on this. Okay, I hope I have answered everything. Is there any more question? Maybe?
I don't think so, B. I think we'll just leave it as that. Again, one thing that I say to everybody, to all our participants, thank you again for being with us. But if we do run out of time, because we are sticking to a very tight schedule, you can send us questions to the Facebook, and then after that, we will try to take this offline and reach out to speakers like B, and hopefully, inshallah, our speakers like B can answer your questions. Yeah, B, is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Sure. So I think that's no problem. Thank you very much, B, for a really good presentation in terms of trying to make the money side of things a lot easier. Money is never easy, and a lot of people always pay more attention when it comes to money. But thank you for trying to help us save more money through the tax way. And I'm sure it is a very good conversation to move everybody's business forward. We'll catch you next time, yeah? Thanks very much.
Thank you, Ben.
Okay.
Thank you.
You have a good day, yeah? Don't forget to makan.
Diet. Okay, puasa. Okay, bye.
Puasa. Okay, no worries.